Good morning, everyone. We're a little early today by about 10 minutes because Teresa and I were ready. So hopefully we didn't mess anybody up. But you guys know me. I'm Nancy Ganzikoffer, business coach and body language trainer to interior designers. And I am here with Caffeine Creatives, Teresa Schlupp. Welcome, Teresa. Tell everyone what you do first before we get into the subject.
Yeah, so the Caffeine Creative, we are all about branding, marketing, and digital marketing, as well as website design, helping you shine online so that you don't have to do all that techie stuff by yourself.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, that techie stuff is rough. It's rough to do it by yourself. Let me just hit the share in the group before I forget. It's interesting. It says one share, so I wonder if it's sharing in my group without me even doing anything. But I don't know. We'll see. So, all right, let's get right into it. The power of high quality. I'm going to have trouble with my mouth today. We can tell. High quality imagery in your website design. Now, we've talked about this a lot, but it's coming up again and again and again.
Because it needs to come up again and again and again, honestly. And, you know, I know it changes. The world of photography changes so very quickly, just like the world of technology. And at one point in time, people were terrified of the idea of high quality imagery because you had to go and hire a high-end photographer and spend a lot of money. And it really, you know, added cost, and you don't want to add the cost to the clients, all the arguments that are in there. But the world of photography is changing as well. And high quality imagery doesn't mean you have to get, you know, this professional that costs $1 million. You can get really incredible high quality imagery. There's other options available. I mean, a year ago for my hobby business that I have on the side, I took a class on how to get high quality imagery with my iPhone. So like there's
which, by the way, we have in our essentials, in our lessons, we have a mini course on how to use your iPhone to do photography.
Which is perfect. So exactly. So the quality isn't, I spent $1 million, because I've seen people spend tons of money on not great imagery. It is the actual image itself. And that's really what I want to talk about and why it's so important, especially as an interior designer. And the first thing that I want to share is that as an interior designer, you are selling a vision. You are selling a dream. You are selling an experience. So if you don't make a stellar first impression when somebody lands on your website with your imagery, then you're really hurting your business. Because, I mean, honestly, first impressions matter and they linger. And one of the interesting things when I was researching for this blog post is I found a study by some MIT neuroscientists. Our brains process entire images in less than 13 milliseconds.
Really?
13 milliseconds, somebody is already making
a determinate, you know, it's funny.
An impression about your work.
I'm gonna mention some. So this morning I had a application review call for somebody who was coming into my Profit Insider program, possibly. Okay, so they no-showed me, but before they didn't show up for their appointment with me, I looked at their website, and one of the things I wanted to say to them was it was really clear to me which images were high quality and which ones were not. They were side by side, so it was really obvious that some images were low quality. So I was like, I wish I got to talk to her so I could tell her this is one of the things she should do.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So if she's here with us today and listening, if you have those side by side, you're doing yourself a disservice. Get rid of those low quality images off your website. It would be better to have fewer images that are amazing than a ton of images of what you've done. It's that fast. We make an determination. So again, we're making an impression. We want to create like, know, and trust, as you hear us say on these videos. Not just me, but Kim and the other people who come and join you are always saying we got to establish that like, know, and trust factor. And here's the thing. When you use high quality, professional looking images, you are telling the world that you take your business seriously. If you're using poor lighted iPhone, crooked angle, whatever images and slapping them up on your website and saying, well, it's good enough, they're going to think that's how you're going to approach their project. Well, you know, that couch isn't quite right, but it's our sofa or whatever proper word. But it's good enough. And that's not that's not going to sell you. You know, that's a Walmart mentality, and you are not Walmart. So you've got to get that out there. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's interesting that you say that, because I always tell everyone, your outward facing assets like your website, your social media, your LinkedIn, your Google business profile, you can all let them sit out there. But if someone who wants to hire you hits on one of them and it's not well maintained and doesn't look like it's been touched recently, they're going to second guess for exactly what you're saying. If they can't if they can't put up a good website, if they can't run their social media, if they can't keep their LinkedIn up to date, what does that mean for their business? And I know as business owners, we go, yeah, but that's just the marketing side and I'm busy, so I don't need that. But you don't know who's judging you for not doing a good job on that and equating it to the job you would do on their home.
Hands down, that is so very true. First impressions matter. If that is the first impression somebody has, or an impression, they're going to question your quality, your dedication, your expertise, your knowledge, your experience. They're going to question everything. Once they start questioning, they're going to be like, I'll look at her later. And they never come back.
Yeah,
that's just the reality.
Exactly.
Yeah. And those images, I want to point out too that the images are more than just a gallery to brag about. Like, look at how awesome I am. Because that's another thing that I have people say, well, I don't want to feel like I'm bragging. And to me, I'm like, brag. Like, you're amazing. Show the world. Like, get over that, brag. But it's not just about bragging points. It's about creating imagery that gives your website visitors an experience. When they land on your website and they get pulled into those images at this incredible kitchen that's well designed and well maintained and beautiful and gorgeous, they start imagining their world like that. When they start imagining themselves in your pictures, you've created an experience for them. You've created a journey for them, and you've created a connection that is going to be the foundation of that like, know, trust, and credibility aspect that you need to have a good client relationship.
Absolutely. So, you want them to want to be their picture to be on your website. You want them to be excited when they look at it.
Yes, exactly. So I want to talk a little bit about some best practices just to give people an idea. And the first one, outside of the high quality images, is getting the right images. Not just a good resolution, but images that are relevant to your brand and the content that you're going to want to be sharing. And like in my blog post this week, I have an example. So if you have an image of you, like right now I'm on a coastal vacation and later on I'm going to be sipping a margarita on the beach. You know, that would be fun if I sell beach vacations or things like that. Or if I want to show a little behind the scenes to my audience, hey, I'm on vacation in my social media. But that's not an appropriate thing for my website. I am a web designer. I am a branding expert. I am a digital marketing person. So putting images of me drinking a margarita on the beach, not appropriate for my brand, not something you want to put on your website. I did an audit for somebody years ago, and she was, in the mental health field, and her about page had her in a bikini on a boat with a beer. And she didn't understand why people weren't, connecting with her, because that wasn't professional. It did not connect. So you want to make sure that these images that you're putting up there are on brand and are attracting and connecting to what you want to build as a business. So if you were wanting to build luxury interior design, which is what I hear the most, then you need to have yourself at a place shopping, like looking at those gorgeous fabrics for custom, upholstery or custom window treatments, or going to high-end places or High Point Market or something like that. For the behind the scenes, you want to make it really very relevant.
Yes. Okay. We have a question coming in from LinkedIn. I put it up on the screen. And we have spoken about this before, but let's do it again. What if you don't have many images to begin with? I'm starting out and don't have many from my own clients, but from past firms I've worked for. So my first question to Lauren would be, does the past firm allow you to use photos that you were the lead designer on, or you were a designer? Because many times they do. So that would be one question, Lauren. I would ask you to make sure you know the answer to that. And if you've been afraid to ask them, don't be. Just call them and say, would you mind if I use these 5 images?
Just ask.
Sometimes they don't
may
mind.
Ask that you also, a lot of times they don't mind, because they want to celebrate you and your success as well, and they understand what it is. So that would be my first suggestion, is to see if you've done that. If you don't have access to those images, I want you to know that, honestly, believe it or not all interior designers have images of their work on their website. I have a client who has only stock imagery on her website. She's been in business for 30 years, probably at this point, or close to 30 years. And we only use stock imagery because of her clientele and the privacy that she has with her clientele. She doesn't show her work. What we did is get really high quality stock images that represent her style, that represent what she can do, that represent the work she does. And that's all we have on her website. She also wanted to make sure people didn't think she was trying to pull a fast one. And she has at the bottom, images, a little disclaimer, images used on this site are a representation of my work, but not my actual work, or something to that effect. And so she shares that. She also, I want to say one last thing, does not have a portfolio because she cannot share her work. I've also seen where people are sharing a portfolio and it's only stock images that they found on free websites. And that's not okay either, because that is a portfolio is saying, look at my work. And so you want to be careful with that. But yeah.
And I'll add a couple here too, which I think were great tips. You can use stock photos. And I think paying for those stock photos, if you're using them on the website, to make them different and unique and not the free sites. And we have a resource in our essentials with free and paid image sites that you can get from. But she is revealing that they're stock photos, but does she have to if she's paid for them?
No, she doesn't have to. She felt more comfortable making
that's fine. I'm just curious.
But but okay. I don't feel that you have to, especially if, I mean, like, they're just images within the website. Now, if there was a portfolio, I would feel it would, I mean, just from an ethical perspective, if she had a portfolio, she would have to say these are representations and not my work. But otherwise, no, you don't have to disclaim it.
You know, it's interesting because I do have I have a celebrity designer in my world here who I coach. And it's true, she cannot share the movie stars and the actors and actresses that she's doing their homes. They don't want her to, they don't want her talking about it. So it makes her social media, and in her head makes her social media harder. But there's so much of behind the scenes you can share without ever mentioning who it is. There's flat lays, there's sample libraries, there's the way you do your process. And then again, a stock photo or a rendering might be okay to share depending on what your contract says with that client. So there are different things you can do. You can create, right? You can create floor plans, renderings, flat lays, and put that on your website too, just to give some imagery that's original and not stock, but it doesn't necessarily have to be under a portfolio and a completed job.
It doesn't. And I love that you mentioned renderings as well, because renderings are a great place to go when you were getting started. And I have built websites that we only share renderings to begin with that represent their site, especially because so many renderings are so lifelike now. They're so incredibly beautiful. But I mean, you could really build a design off of it, even if you went with the ones that were a little bit softer and obvious, renderings. You can create an incredible website with that imagery saying, here are the things that I envision for you. And like, that would pull people in, because
I love that.
I mean, renderings are powerful.
They are. Okay. So, what tips did we not hit? Power of high quality imagery.
Okay. So let's see. If one last thing, like photo inspiration, you want to say, here are some ideas. How do I get photos of me? I'll go to the blog site. I've got ideas based on industry of ways to get some images for you for your website that would be brand appropriate. The next thing that I want to say is you want to make sure that you optimize your images for the web. High quality doesn't have to mean and should not mean high file size. You want to make sure that those images are optimized for your web. And there's a free place where you can go, tinypng.com, that you can go to optimize your amazing images for the website, so that your website loads quickly and then things are visible.
Okay, so we tell everyone they need high quality photos, but when they upload them, it could slow down their website. So they have to go to tinypng.com. Is that what it is? And it converts it to a smaller size, but still keeps the quality clear for when you blow it up on the website.
The quality. Absolutely. So Not now, some photographers are going to give you web resolution folder and then a traditional folder, and they're already going to do that for you. Just make sure that you're getting your images optimized for the web, so you don't slow it down and make the website super helpful. Okay. Some other things to think about when it comes to building that portfolio or bringing those images into your website, especially if you're going to be using stock images, is think about the consistency of the look, the style, the feel. What images are you putting together? And to bring those together all at once. So colors that complement your brand, things that align with the mood and the tone of your brand. If you're creating relaxing coastal cottages, you don't want to be slapping up a bunch of bright, bold, orange, red, purple all at once. It looks like a Mardi Gras. It's going to feel off brand and it's going to feel different.
Right. Okay.
Couple other things, use your alt text. So when you're adding those images to your website, add an alt text. This is going to help boost the overall SEO of the website. And it's also going to help anyone with visual disabilities absorb what's going on into the website. So there's a huge value in having a clear description alt text on each of your images, not only to boost your SEO, but also to make your website accessible to those who maybe can't see as clearly.
Okay, so alt text is in the background, but for those who are sight impaired, their systems are set up to be able to bring out the alt text on their computers. So it's not something everybody sees, but it's something that sight impaired people could see, hear.
Well, here they have specific software to help them browse the web so that they can experience the whole website. So when they are browsing the web with those softwares and they come up on an image and it says image 0562, it means nothing to them. But if it says image of, cafe shutters and, a dining room nook or something, or dining nook or something, like, then they start to feel and get an idea of what those images are about, and they have a better experience with you and your website.
And Google likes that you have alt text and your website is then accessible, and that alt text is read by Google when people are searching for things.
Yes, exactly. Okay. The last thing I would just share, honestly, is that remember that your images are more than just a decoration. They are powerful tools of communicating and engaging with your audience. They are how you connect a lot of times. Like I said in the beginning, we process images in 13 milliseconds. And so in 13 milliseconds, I am already deciding what I'm going to think about you based on the images that you're sharing with me. And maybe I'm going to say, oh, that's beautiful, but not my style. And that's okay, because then I'm not your client. But I may very well say, oh my God, that's incredible. I need to call her. I need to call him, So make sure that you're using those images strategically and not just slapping them up willy-nilly. You want to get the most out of that investment that you have in imagery, whether it's time, money, or both.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do a quick summary at the end, and anyone who hopped in later can go back to the beginning to get more details?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we did talk about a lot here, but again, the thing that I want to share is that high quality images matter. This doesn't have to mean high dollar, but it does mean to be high quality images so that you can build trust and credibility with potential clients who visit your website. Those images are more than just decoration or area to brag. They are a journey for your website visitors, and it will make you much more likely for them to remember you when they have a pleasant experience and pleasant journey on your website. When it comes to the best practices, make sure that those high quality images are optimized for your website, and that you also are adding in the alt text SEO and accessibility aspects that are necessary for everyone to have a pleasant experience. And as I just said, they're more than decoration. They're a strategic tool that can really boost your business from where it's at today to the next level that you're striving for tomorrow. So absolutely do that.
All right. Tell everyone how to find you if they need their website redone professionally, which, usually is a little bit of a journey in their career. It's not usually right away, but a couple of years in, after they made their own website, now they're ready to get professional advice and get it done really well. How do they find you?
Well, I will say, first of all, go to caffeinecreative.io. if you're on the DIY journey, I have a core library that is quite extensive and free. It's free and it will remain free. You do have to share your email address with me to get access, but otherwise I have things on branding, how to utilize AI to streamline your business, how to create a blog. It's very extensive and I encourage you to use it because I want you to be successful, and that is why it is free. Secondly, if you're ready to take the step or you're just interested in what that next step is and working with somebody, hop on and do a free consult. We do a free 20-30 minute consult with everybody to see if it's the right fit. And if I'm not the right fit, then I'm going to help you by recommending other people who might be a good fit. So you really have nothing to lose but a little bit of time and conversation.
It's an amazing thing that you offer to spend 20 or 30 minutes with somebody for no charge and give them the advice they need to move forward. And if they need you, they need you. If they don't, they don't. And that's why I love to work with people who are like me.
Yeah.
If you need me, I'm there for you. If you don't need me, I'll tell you. You know?
Right, exactly. I don't want to force this on anybody because we're all at different stages in our business. And I love that I'm in a position in my business that I can give that helping hand to those who need it. So,
because we've all been there in the beginning.
We've all been there in the beginning. Yes. It was confusing and terrible at times, not always.
Yeah, it's a journey for sure. All right, everyone. So if you're needing help with creating your own website, go to caffeinecreative.io and take advantage of Teresa's free resource library. If you're needing help to get to that next step with your website, get on caffeinecreative.io and get on Teresa's calendar for a conversation about what it would take to get you that new website that you need to be found by your ideal client. Again, I was just looking at websites this morning and some of my clients, and I go, oh, okay, we need to make some improvements. I click on the calendar link and there's no availability and you can't move it forward to any availability. Well, guess what? If I was a client, boom, I'm lost. Right? So checking your website functionality, making sure it represents your branding properly, making sure it represents your service levels properly, and making sure it's attractive to your ideal client is all part of a bigger, a big ecosystem that you are an expert at when it comes to the websites. So get on Teresa's calendar and have a conversation if your website's been bugging you lately. Okay? All right. Thanks, Teresa. I will see you next time.
All right.
All right, everyone, go have a great Wednesday.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. We have a little delay, so that's where we had a little issue today, but that's okay. Go enjoy the rest of your vacation. I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.